I'm making like $40,000 per YouTube video.
Can you share where you were at revenue-wise before you started working with us? Like, where are you at now?
Before, I guess, starting to work with you, I think I was at 30K a month. Now, this month, I did 70.
What was like your process on YouTube before working with us, and what's it like now?
My process before working with you was pretty much throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Since working with you, it's pretty much automated. Omar sends me a script and a title, and this is what I need to talk about, and I just need to sit here and record it.
Now, kind of based on the results so far, where do you see things going in the next 6 to 12 months?
As long as I do that, I don't see how the business isn't doing at least.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the sales master, Alex Beck himself, who's also a client here at Creo Social. Floor is yours. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, my name is Alex Beck. I've been in online remote sales for the past 5 years now at this point. So I got my start by working for Alex Hormozi at Gym Launch. Was there for about 2 years and then transitioned to working for Iman Ghazi, where with Iman, I was his highest cash collected sales rep ever, which is, I guess, is cool to say. But I've worked for a couple other notable names as well. But now at this point, I have my own sales training and placement agency that I run, which Omar has graciously helped me grow.
Can you share where you were at revenue-wise before you started working with us, and now, in the 4.5 months that's been, like, where are you at now?
Yeah, luckily you kind of caught me at a time where I was just starting to build this stuff up. So I had proof of concept before, I guess, starting to work with you on content. Meaning, I had a couple 20, 30K months where, I had proof that this is something that will work. I just needed to figure out the marketing side of things. I think I was at 20, 30K a month when we first started working together.
And then where are you at now?
Now, this month I did 70K. Last month I did about 60. And I think in total, in the past 6 months, I'm almost at 250K cash collected. So not revenue, that's straight cash. If we're looking at revenue, it's a lot more. And I think that's only based off, like, we've only made 6 YouTube videos together. I think 7.
Yeah, I think six.
Yeah, it's a cool metric to look at. I guess if I divide 250 by 6, I'm making like $40,000 per YouTube video. Damn near.
Yeah, that's crazy to think. Like, throughout this entire thing, like, has anything kind of surprised you by how much traffic you've actually gotten from YouTube?
What surprised me is how small of a following I need to make pretty outsized returns as far as money, right? Like, you would think I need 1 million subscribers in order to make, $1 million a year. And I think the big thing I've realized is, like, as long as your content strategy is good, which you've helped with, you could get 1,000 views per video and still cook up a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? Like, you are quite literally outpacing creators with millions of followers on YouTube, right? Because AdSense, depending on the niche and the entertainment niche, you maybe make $3.50 for 1,000 views. It's not the greatest, right? That's kind of the awesome thing about YouTube. I do want to circle back a bit because I know, when we started working together, I probably pitched you like multiple times. Once you kind of worked with a couple other agencies. What was like your process on YouTube before working with us, and what's it like now?
Yeah. To all that to say, Omar, I made a joke the other day to my friend not too long ago. I was like, I paid all these different agencies, or your competitors, essentially, just to realize, like, the person I should have gone with was, the guy that kept bugging, and not bugging, right? But you reached out to me a ton of times trying to, get me on a call so that we could, start cooking stuff up together. But my process before working with you was pretty much throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. It was literally like, okay, idea comes to mind, pull up the camera, record it, put it together in CapCut real quick, and just slap it out there and, hope everything works out.
And then, now these past like 4.5 months, like, what's the process now?
Since working with you, it's pretty much automated at this point, which is a cool part, right? I think the big thing that sticks out too, for like anyone listening to this, was how much, and I've worked with agencies that I was paying like a ton of money to. They were asking for huge chunks of rev share from the business as well. But Omar actually put like a crazy amount of time into studying the market for my niche, which is sales, and looking at other creators. Who am I competing against? What's doing well for them? What are the ideas that are hitting? And then you go off and create like your own concepts that we could spin off of that. So like now the process for me is pretty much like Omar sends me a script and a title, and this is what I need to talk about, and I just need to sit here and record it.
Awesome.
And like review it a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. But I think, because the big thing with like our process that like I kind of always try to do is, like, I always make a joke about it, but essentially like after, you know, X months of working with us, I try to provide as much insight so my clients could probably run their own YouTube Done For You program if they wanted to, right? Do you feel like you've kind of picked up some insights on the actual platform, what works, what doesn't, kind of since we've been working together?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I learned a lot more as far as like, especially intros. You're really big on intros and like hooking people correctly on YouTube videos. So that's something that I've learned. At the same time, like I try and focus on the areas that I'm good at. And so for me, it's like more helpful to have someone like you on my side rather than try and figure it out on my own, you know?
Yeah. And I know, to circle back some more, like you mentioned you're doing 70K a month through YouTube now. What would be like the exact, you know, revenue attributed, you'd say?
Oh man, revenue. I mean, like put it this way, like when I said that, I guess 250K, that was straight cash collected. A lot of people do payment plans. So I'd say almost $1 million for 6 months into the year, which is pretty good.
Yeah, which is that's, yeah. That's more than pretty good. I mean, in my eyes, but
yeah,
but yeah, that's awesome.
I guess it would be contract value, right? So contract value would be almost $1 million.
Yeah, and then maybe like dive a bit into what's like the time commitment now compared to before, ever since working with us.
Yeah, time commitment. I mean, you can't get away when it comes to content with like you have to put time into it. Right? You've definitely been able to shave a lot of the time and the stuff that isn't fun. It's fun for me to sit in front of a camera and to talk, right? It's not fun for me to search on YouTube and try and look at other people in the space and come up with ideas, right? So you've been able to like really take that away. As far as time commitment, I mean, my goal is to be posting 2 YouTube videos a week. That'd probably take 4 to 6 hours per week of me just like receiving the script idea from you, then sitting there and knocking it out.
Yeah. I mean, a big part of that too is like, because your videos, you kind of go super in depth. They're a bit longer. That's kind of what's required in the sales space to outcompete your competitors versus like, you know, a client in a different niche, sometimes it's 1 to 2 hours a week. But like you said, there always is that onus on the client. I think that's a big part. Why I was so bullish on pitching you or bugging you as many times as I was, because I'd already seen your previous content and I was like, okay, like, very well spoken. I mean, obviously you're in sales, but you're good in front of the camera. You kind of just needed the YouTube-esque knowledge to really package it together. And that's why like I was so adamant about it, because I was like, there's no possible way like it could fail. It's funny. I think I texted you this like a few weeks ago, but we recently did a video on your channel. It was about, you know, Alex Ramone's $100 million sales process. It's the best performing on the channel by far. Yeah. But that was actually the video I originally pitched you with like a year ago. So yeah, that kind of just speaks to how much conviction I had of why it would work. But yeah. But like just to say, like a lot of it, yes, comes from the strategy, but how you present yourself on camera, like matters just as much.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I worked with an agency, which you know who these guys are, before we worked together. And I remember I told them when we first started, like, hey, you know, a way that I'm measuring success with you guys too, like, sure, maybe it's money, but I also want to break my highest viewed video that I made by myself with just a camera and slapping shit together. They weren't able to do it with a, you know, good amount of videos. And then, you know, I linked up with you, and I think the second video, I broke it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Right. And to piggyback off of that, what do you think we kind of do different compared to competitors? Because I know you worked with 2 other YouTube agencies as well. Do you notice like a big difference? And like, what is that?
For sure. You definitely make it easier and more fun. I think the biggest thing is like how in depth you go. It's almost like when you started working with me, you took your self-learning sales super seriously as well, so that you could create good videos, good ideas, good scripts. So the research that you do into the space was huge. I mean, I think on day one, you asked for access to my program. You know, you went super in depth watching everything. I remember the first script that you sent me, or the first kind of framework for a video that you sent me. You were talking about stuff that was like deep into like the program of what I have and the training that I do, that, you know, you obviously watched everything and created a really good video. So I'd say that's the big things. Number two, this is probably the biggest, is speed, right? Like, you guys move incredibly fast. Like, sometimes even I need to learn from that as well, but like how fast you guys move from, you know, I send you the footage to you already launch it to your editor, whoever does it, within 24 hours, video's already done, you're sending thumbnails. So you guys move incredibly fast too, which is probably the most important piece that I've seen.
That's a big shout out to the team. We kind of dialed that in for over the past year.
Yeah,
I confidently say I think we're the best on YouTube, and people will see that as the years progress. But yeah, I think a big thing too with the sales stuff. Like, obviously, as an agency owner, it was very helpful to see your program, and I learned a lot from you when I was writing your scripts. And anyone watching this, check out our video on the roller coaster framework, discovery framework, because I use it in every sales call now, and close rate definitely went up. So
yeah.
I definitely start using that.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Now, kind of based on the results so far, where do you see things going, you know, in the next 6 to 12 months for YouTube, with your business? Because the big thing too is, like, the videos that we create, they are still generating, you know, thousands of views every day, right?
Yeah.
So like, this stuff compounds, it goes over time. So kind of how do you expect your business to flow in the next year?
Yeah. I mean, it's insane for me to see, and I've been trying to figure out, like, luckily I have Omar on the content side, which is helpful, but for me, I've been trying to figure out the operations side. So the fact that in the past 6 months, I've posted 6 videos in total with Omar and have made how much money I have is absolutely insane. So I know we've talked about this. Things are positioned right now to where I could start ideally getting up to 2 YouTube videos per week that are going out. As long as I do that, I mean, I don't see, you know, how the business isn't doing at least 500K a month. Subscribers is climbing up to the same, you know, by the end of the year here.
Did you have like any misconceptions around YouTube before starting?
Yeah, my biggest misconception that everyone told me, which I never believed from the start, is that it's going to take me 1,000 videos in order to like get any type of traction or any type of views. And I think working with Omar was proof to me that I guess my ideas were right, that it doesn't take that much. You just need to put more effort into your videos and have good concepts, good ideas, good titles, good thumbnails, right? So, you know, that's where you guys come into play, where it's like, I know what to talk about and I have the voice and I could sit in front of the camera, but you guys know how to package everything. That way, I mean, I may have like 15 videos in total on YouTube, maybe 20, I don't know. I think like 15, which is ridiculous for how much things have grown, the views that I'm generating, you know, the money that I'm making and so forth. So I'd say that's the biggest misconception, is thinking that it's smarter to do it on my own and get to 1,000 videos throwing shit at the wall rather than, you know, paying you guys who could just help me create really good concepts and well-packaged videos right away.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think you probably already understood like the value of YouTube, because obviously worked under Iman, Alex, Charlie Morgan, etc.
Yeah.
You know, very front-face marketers. YouTube is one of the main reasons why, you know, they are where they are today. But
for sure,
now after seeing your own results, do you kind of put even more emphasis on how important it truly is? Whoever owns a business, like, you need to be on the platform.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I mean, there's guys that I'm outperforming right now, like competitors that have a similar business model than me, and they have a way bigger brand on Instagram and whatnot. And I mean, I have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube and I'm making more money than them. Right. And it's like, why is that? I've actually answered that question for myself, but YouTube is like a learning platform versus Instagram is a scrolling platform. So the longer you could keep someone's attention, the more they'll trust you. Most people go to YouTube to search up how to be a better salesperson, right? They watch an hour-long video where I speak they're a lot quicker to buy compared to the guy on Instagram who watches a 20-second reel, then moves on to some other brain rot content, you know? So YouTube, I think it's the most important pillar you could have for yourself to generate leads with online business.
You're not running ads either, right?
Yeah, I'm not running ads.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
70K a month, 30 to 70, no ads, strictly organic. Like, and that's the thing too, like people don't realize, some people are like, oh, I want to run ads first. Oh, I want to do this first. But YouTube quite literally should be the core pillar of your content, your brand, your presence, because, you know, once you do start running ads, they'll click on your profile. They're going to search you up on YouTube. They're going to see if content exists. They're going to do as much research as possible. So if that doesn't exist, your competitor kind of takes the pie, which is why you're kind of doing it the right way.
For sure. Plus ads don't even really work unless you have a brand. I mean, it can, right? But, you know, there are so many more. Your ads will be way higher converting if you have that brand behind you already.
Yeah, exactly. So if someone's on the fence of working with us here at Creo Social, what would you tell them?
I'd probably just show them my Stripe account, you know, my Stripe account, and I guess like how much I've grown on YouTube, and let that do the selling, you know. But I would tell them it's like a no-brainer, you know. Really is the big thing. And plus, like with the experience I have with working with a lot of other agencies on YouTube and whatnot, like I could come from a place of like, you know, I've tried other things. This is what worked best for me. But I think the proof is in the pudding, where it's like with you guys, I'm not giving an emotional, oh, I like Omar, this is how you should do it. It's like, hey, here's screenshots of like how it's working for me. Like you'd be an idiot not to.
Awesome. And then any final thoughts?
No, final thoughts. I mean, I appreciate everything. I want to, you know, definitely scale this up a lot more and scale my YouTube a lot more. So, you know, I definitely found the right team to do that with me.
Awesome. And yeah, that kind of wraps everything from our end. And, you know, whoever watching this, like I want you to pay attention to Alex's YouTube. You'll see where it's at. This is in 6 videos. Wait till we are doing 2 a week. Like it's probably gonna get pretty crazy. And yeah, with that, signing off.
Let's do it.